Now, we would now like to start the plenary session number 5. The title of this session is Hiroshima Spirit, Hiroshima's Reconstruction and How to Create the Future. Now, I would like to introduce the participants from Hiroshima Keizai Doyukai, Mr. Hiroyoshi Kagawa, the Chairperson of Association of Corporate Executives, Mr. Shamsul Hadi from UNITAR, Program Officer and Team Leader, Ms. Misaki Fujiyama, Representative Li-mone, and Professor Yoshinobu from Eikei University Social System Design. We will have 4 panelists on the stage. In this plenary session, we will have Professor Soda serve as the moderator. So, Professor Soda, the floor is yours. Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to have the plenary session number 5, which will focus on the reconstruction and also the possibility of the future of Hiroshima. Thank you for joining today. Now, let me use my slide so that we can be sharing the tone of this session. So, reconstruction and how to create the future of Hiroshima. Well, since yesterday, we have been discussing different topics after the atomic bombing. So it was said that no plants will grow in the next 70 years. And that was how devastated Hiroshima was. But in 3 days after the bombing, the reconstruction in Hiroshima happened at a surprising pace. And we should not be repeating this mistake never again. And many hopes and activities for peace is being conducted here in Hiroshima. Globally, the world is changing. There are tensions around the world. And now, I think, is a good timing to revisit and look at Hiroshima, and also for us to think about how to create the future of Hiroshima. So in this session, we would like to highlight the challenges that has been taken on by the companies here in Hiroshima, and also think about the possibilities of the Hiroshima for global peace. So that is the objective of this session. First of all, let me briefly introduce myself, and we're going to tackle this theme of peace today. And I'm not an expert in this area. I used to work for a private company and also for a government agency, and I was with the NPO, with the university and the media. I've been involved in the society from different perspectives, and I have tried to solve problems from different aspects. And if we are to create new value in the society, one single stakeholder will not be able to make that possible. So how to connect the players and how to create or connect the different values, and through which we create the new system. That is actually my area of expertise. And together with different stakeholders, I would like to help create this social value. And this is the perspective that I have when I think about peace. All right. So although now I'm not an expert on peace, what is peace? If we are to look at the social system, how do we observe peace? I would like to talk from that perspective. Well, the status of peace is not only a situation that there is no conflict, war, or violence. Well, primarily, people may think of such a situation as peace. But that alone is not enough. Having coordination with different people, harmony with different people, and creating value. I think that is also another aspect of peace. And having both these pillars will enable peace. That is how I think. And Hiroshima has learned from the past and have been engaged in a big movement to eradicate conflict, war, and violence. And also, Hiroshima is a city that has taken a big step towards reconstruction. So that is why Hiroshima has a society which is in harmony. And what is beyond that? From this city of Hiroshima, whether the global situation is in a turmoil, what else can we do? So this is what we would like to discuss in this dialogue session today. So today we would like to focus on reconstruction and also how to build the future. Well, first about the reconstruction, I would like to turn to the panelists, and I would like to have them talk from their perspectives, and after that we would like to think about what we can do towards the future. And when we think about the future, of course, after the Meiji Restoration period, Japan has modernized itself, and we can reflect upon Hiroshima from that context. However, Hiroshima obviously has a longer history, and also in the Setouchi region, we have had a long history, and it's because of this history that we can think of the future together. So we would like to look at this in a longer time frame, and creating and promoting the value for Hiroshima for global peace. We would like to explore a direction and also explore the possibility to enable that. So that is what we want to do in this panel discussion today. All right, so now let me turn to the panelists one by one. First of all, to talk about reconstruction. So I'd like to ask for the presentation from the local community, local company perspective, or international organization perspective, or it's from the youth. How do you see reconstruction? So I'd like to turn to the panelists one by one from here. So Kagawa-san, please.
Hello, everyone. About 4 days ago at the assembly meeting, we got the assignment from the Doyukai of Hiroshima as the, and my name is Kagawa. So in order to think about reconstruction, I think we have to understand the background and what was happening at the time. So from the company's history of Fukuya, I would like to review the history. This year, we are marking 96th anniversary, but looking at the history book of 50 years of this company, I would like to give you the background. Fukuya was built as the first department store in 1929. It was a small building with 4 stories, and in 1938, on the 1st of April, the current department store Fukuya was built in the current location. This is a picture. So this is the situation when the atomic bomb was dropped. In 1937, Japan and China's war started, and the national mobilization law was promulgated in 1938, and the facade of the new building was actually painted black in order to camouflage to prevent to be targeted in the air raid in 1943. And in 1944, the offices and buildings were offered for the military use, and employees were also sent to the military plants. The number of the employee used to be the 824. However, right before the end of the war, this has come down to 68. And this is the map of the Hachobori at the time. And old building and new buildings were there, and the Chugoku newspaper company was there too. But on that location, Mitsukoshi department store is standing, and on the 6th of August of 1945, the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, and Fukuya was very much affected by that because it was only 600 meters away from the hypocenter, and 31 people fell victim to this atomic bombing. And so the reconstruction work started. So this is Fukuya, affected by the atomic bombing. This is the current Japan's Red Cross Hospital. It was 1.9 kilometers away from the hypocenter, and a lot of injured people inundated the hospital. This is the picture of the bombed Chugoku newspaper headquarters. 114 employees fell victim to the atomic bombing, and the Chugoku newspaper asked Asahi newspaper company to start printing the newspaper for them. So they resumed the publication from the 9th of August. And this is the Hiroshima Railway. 185 people died, and 108 cars out of 123 trams were affected by the atomic bombing. And however, on the 9th of August, they resumed their operation between Kai and Nishitemacho Station. This is the called Batanko. In December of 1945, Toyo Industry, now it's called Mazda, started manufacturing three-wheeled trucks. And this three-wheeled trucks is called Batanko. And the resumption of the operation in September, or the 17th of September 1945, Makurazaki typhoon hit the area, and the death toll was very high. And in Hiroshima, the 30 bridges were damaged, and the transportation line was disrupted because of that. I'm going to skip these parts. And we have resumed the operation in 1946, and this is the elevator. So the ceiling and walls are not yet repaired. And after that, occupation army came to Hiroshima. I'm going to skip this. And in 1954, finally, the whole buildings were restored, and we were able to resume the full operation. This is the picture of that time. So the right-hand side, in December, the full building's renovation was completed, and this is the front entrance, and it is made of wood. And in 1955, Hiroshima City Public Hall was established. The West Japan Conference of Rotary Club was scheduled to be held in Hiroshima. Back then, we did not have any big public hall to accommodate that kind of event because Hiroshima was busy reconstructing residential areas and businesses. We did not have any public hall, and the business groups in Hiroshima decided to donate the public hall to Hiroshima City. And so the 10 top companies in Hiroshima led this construction project, and after the completion, the building was donated to city of Hiroshima. The total cost of construction was 322 million. Of that, 290 million yen was covered with a donation from Futabakai, the Association of the Businesses in Hiroshima. And in 1989, this conference, city public hall, was reconstructed and has become Hiroshima International Conference Center. The Hiroshima's local businesses rose to do this project for the local people, and I feel very proud of them. And that was the history of reconstruction of Fukuya. Now, like I mentioned at the end, the top 10 Hiroshima companies, they exercised initiative to lead the reconstruction work. Despite their difficulty, they were also faced with in recovering their businesses. And also, Hiroshima Toyo Cup, the baseball team was established, and that actually mentally supported the Hiroshima citizens, and it really revitalized the hurt people. And in 1949, Hiroshima Baseball Club was established as a citizens' baseball team, and after that, it became Hiroshima Toyo Carp. The parent company, there's no parent company or sponsoring companies. Mazda is the sponsor, but there's the Hiroshima Toyo Cup Incorporation, and that is still operated as the citizens' baseball team. In 1949, the law was established for Hiroshima peace construction law. The reconstruction of Hiroshima after the atomic bomb. This law stipulates how to rebuild the city and make the city a city of peace. The Hiroshima spirit of the citizens and the leadership of the companies supported the effort of reconstruction work in Hiroshima. So we don't have much time, so I'm going to close my talk here.
Thank you, Mr. Kagawa. So how the local companies reconstructed itself, I think he shared his experience with you. Now, I would like to turn to Dr. Shamsul from UNITAR to talk about his perspective from a global organization. How does he see the reconstruction of Hiroshima? Shamsul, please.
Thank you, and a very good morning to all of you. So today I will be talking a little bit about who we are as the UNITAR, and a little bit perspective on Hiroshima and why we are in Hiroshima, not in Tokyo, but also a little bit about the program and activities that we conduct in the city of Hiroshima. So I would like to start with a brief background of the United Nations Institute for Training and Research that was established in early 1960s by the UN General Assembly to support the countries that was coming out of colonization by offering training and capacity building primarily to new young diplomats coming, those new countries that was emerging in Africa as well as in Asia, to join the UN and how to conduct diplomacy in multilateral setting. So over the years, the mandate of the UNITAR, that it has office in Hiroshima, has shifted. And now the role of UNITAR is more to provide training, capacity building to adults, that include individual, but also to support organization globally in institutions, worldwide. The UNITAR Hiroshima office was established in 2003 by the support of the Hiroshima Prefectural government. And it is the only organization that exist in Hiroshima, including the Chugoku and Shikoku region. There is no other UN agency except UNITAR, which is, to support peace and, capacity building in the city of Hiroshima. So now a little bit on Hiroshima. Hiroshima history is the city of that first experienced a nuclear bombing, which is a remarkable, devastation. It's a city that represents not only that shaped its identity as a center for peace building and reconstruction as well. So it's not just the devastation, the destruction that happened, but also its identity to support peace and reconstruction globally. So UNITAR presence here allows is to leverage Hiroshima legacy to train young people, leaders, diplomats, and professionals in nuclear disarmament, peace building, and sustainable development. The office serves as a bridge between Hiroshima lessons and the global efforts to promote peace and prosperity around the world. Current project and initiative, so we do a lot of different trainings and activities from the Hiroshima office. I'll just give a few examples that we work here in Hiroshima. There are 6 thematic areas that include entrepreneurship, private sector development, leadership and inclusion, finance and trade, anti-corruption and combating crimes, frontier technologies, and Hiroshima and peace. These are the 6 thematic areas that we work here in Hiroshima. So some key programs that we conduct and deliver around the world include nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation, which equips young diplomats with knowledge and skills to advance nuclear disarmament on the global forum and also globally. Hiroshima Youth Ambassador Program, which engage young people in discussion on peace and the sustainable development goals. And training for conflict and post-conflict countries, and as you know that there's a lot of countries recently that has conflict or coming out of conflict that we support by driving lesson from the Hiroshima reconstruction to support nation that is recovering and emerging from crises. So UNITAR Hiroshima office collaborate not only with the government of Japan, but also one of its key supporter, the Hiroshima Prefecture, as well as the Hiroshima city government. But also we also work and support with universities and private sector organization, ensuring its program meets high professional and academic standards. So Hiroshima stands as a profound amalgam of both tragedy and resilience that Professor KAGAWA has earlier mentioned. The city in history, the first city in history to experience the bombing, making an event that reshaped global consciousness about warfare, peace, and humanity's future. The city has recovered from its profound loss and emerged as a remarkable transformation, making Hiroshima as a global symbol of hope, peace, and reconstruction. Despite the destruction, Hiroshima displayed an extraordinary strength, rebuilding itself into a thriving modern city while preserving its historical legacy and memory. Today, landmarks such as the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park and the Atomic Bomb Dome serve as a powerful reminder, sometimes I would call it time machine, of the past, but also inspires worldwide efforts toward nuclear disarmament. Hiroshima legacy extends beyond Japan. It is now a cornerstone of global movements for peace. It hosts the annual Hiroshima Peace Memorial Ceremony, bringing leaders, citizens together to honor the victims and reaffirms commitment to a future without nuclear weapons. The city is also home to peace research institutions and organizations, including the UNITAR Hiroshima office, which utilizes Hiroshima history to train professionals in post-conflict reconstruction and sustainable development. Hiroshima transformation is more than just a story of reconstruction and rebuilding, the infrastructure. But it is also a testament to the human spirit and capacity to overcome adversity and create a future rooted in peace and cooperation. By sharing its lessons with the world, it fosters hope and inspires communities to rebuild, reconcile, and strive for lasting peace. Now, I'm working with the Hiroshima office, and I witness how, and the people who comes to Hiroshima every year, witness how Hiroshima story touches its visitors, including the people that come here from conflict-affected nation, including my own country, Afghanistan. Many trainees and lead, when they go through this park and museum, shed tears as they walk and feel what happened here in this city 80 years before. They are overwhelmed by the accounts of innocent children caught in the bombing. Beyond grief, they wonder, how did Hiroshima rise from the ashes of the from the atomic bombing? What gives its people the strength to rebuild? I think these are deep questions that linger in their hearts and their minds when they go through the Peace Park Museum and when they talk to Hibakusha. So these reflections go beyond personal sorrow. As they return home, they carry valuable lessons about resilience, hope, and the importance of rebuilding even in the face of unimaginable destruction. Hiroshima revival is not just a local story, but a global one, aligning with peace initiatives such as the UN New Agenda for Peace and efforts to strengthen diplomacy, mediation, and conflict resolution worldwide. At UNITAR, we often follow up with these trainees who visit Hiroshima, who recall their time in Hiroshima with deep emotions. Their visit leaves them with a renewed determination to work toward peace, reinforcing the belief that rebuilding is possible in all those countries, including Afghanistan, Iraq, South Sudan, Syria, and many more other countries who visit Hiroshima. As global conflicts continue, Hiroshima legacy stands as a beacon of hope, reminding the world that peace is achievable when nation, communities, and individuals commit to healing, dialogue, and reconstruction. So for the sake of time, I'll stop here. Thank you very much for your attention.
はい、ありがとうございます。では最後のプレゼンテーション。
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to turn to the last presenter.
So let's take a look at the Fujiyama-san's presentations, thinking about the view on the reconstruction. Hello, everyone. My name is Misaki Fujiyama. It's been 5 years since the new university, Eikei University, was established in Hiroshima, and I am the first person of the first year of the graduates from the university Eikei, and I would like to give you the brief explanation of what we are doing. I'm the youngest person among the panelists, but I would like to share what I know. So this is the exhibition called The Pride of Hiroshima. I think many of you know this exhibition. So first I would like to explain about the Pride of Hiroshima exhibition. So Pride of Hiroshima is the story of reconstruction of Hiroshima depicted from the perspective of businesses. So but atomic bombing, reconstruction, and beyond. So that's the story we are trying to deliver through this exhibition. 2 years ago, in 2023 May, in the G7 summit was held in Hiroshima. Along with that, together with the Hiroshima's companies, we established the committee. The 26 companies in Hiroshima got together. When it comes to the story of Hiroshima, we often heard about the atomic bombing and its suffering, the story about them. However, there are a lot of people who are working hard to restore their life. And along with the G7 summit, we want to tell that part of the story, and that's how this initiative started. So this is the exhibition. That was the limited exhibition for 3 weeks. Those people who live in Hiroshima might know this from the atomic Genbaku Dome. In the place where there used to be the baseball park, there's a gate park, open park. And below the big roof, we were having the open exhibition session. So initial plan was to exhibit that only for a limited period of time, but from both in and outside of Japan, 17,000 people visited the site. And this plan, or this exhibition telling the new story of Hiroshima, was very well received, and therefore we decided to make it a permanent exhibition. So this is the situation of the gate park, and this is the permanent exhibition. And so now we are having the video exhibition instead of the physical exhibitions. And so in 1945, August 6th, the atomic bomb was dropped, and from then on, the time progresses, and along with the flow of the time, you can see the exhibition. Last year, at the end of April, we opened this exhibition museum. So this is how it looks like in terms of the structure. You can walk around the structure to see the exhibits. And to make a permanent exhibition, we had to prepare the structure, and we had to create the video footages, and we also had to create the flyers as well. And in order to create all those, we wanted to make everything by the Hiroshima's creators. So these are the creators that we worked together in this project, and they contributed in their own way with their strength. So the Pride of Hiroshima is now running, and every day the attendant staffs are attending to run the exhibition. So half of the attendant staffs are the individuals, like the students and the housewives, and the other half are the students, actually. Those students who are studying in the universities attend and help the story of the reconstruction from the business's perspectives. So we are doing the control and management of the students' attendance. So the Pride of Hiroshima is operating 6 days a week, and the operation has got a very special or unique approach. So during the weekdays in the afternoon, students come and attend the exhibitions, and the employees from the participating businesses also join in this attendance work, and the companies can tell the story of the reconstruction in their own way. That is an important opportunity for them as well, and they can encounter with the students, and they can have a good dialogue, and they can come across and with new perspectives, and they can create a new sort of relationships. And through these encounter, the students can actually understand the value of, or can discover the new aspects of the businesses, and also the businesses find it as a good opportunity to learn about the youth's perspective. So the video exhibitions are just showing the critical points of the story. So there's only so much story that they can tell through the videos. But to supplement that, the representative from the companies can tell more details. So participating companies are cooperating with us. We are now making the exhibition plan for each company. So Mazda was the first company, and under 10, and there are total 16 participating companies, and one by one, students are organizing their company-specific exhibit. So reconstruction effort and what the company is doing now, and the young employees also talk about what kind of contribution the company wants to make in Hiroshima. So that kind of messages are delivered through company-specific exhibitions. And as Pride of Hiroshima, there are some initiatives we are taking specifically targeting youths. So the significance of Pride of Hiroshima is to nurture the youth who will take on this initiative, or the future of Hiroshima. Those young students learning in Hiroshima, they can learn how quickly the Hiroshima was reconstructed after the atomic bombings and the path of Hiroshima. By telling these stories, we want to nurture young talents. And actually, we are accepting the school trip. And also as a part of peace education, we are open to accept the audience from outside of the prefecture and also from companies. And so think about the career, think about the peace. This is managed and supported by the student attendance. And recently, we have actually accepted the primary school students. The company's exhibit could be a bit difficult for them, but we prepared the explanation that is easier for them to understand, and they were very much interested in the exhibits. And we are now encouraging the schools to include the story of the Hiroshima businesses reconstruction efforts, and we are offering some educational material themed under a Pride of Hiroshima to the local schools. And so since the atomic bombing, how the Hiroshima-based companies contributed to the process of reconstruction. All these knowledge is now shared with the young students. So the main player of this initiative is the students. So this year, in the magazine of Hiroshima Chamber of Commerce and Chamber of Commerce and Industry decided to carry the article of Pride of Hiroshima initiative, and our picture is actually showed up in the cover page. And on behalf of the young generation, I would like to continue to tell the story, and that's why I'm here to speak on behalf of the youth in this endeavor of Pride of Hiroshima.
立場からです。
Well, thank you very much. From their respective perspectives, we heard about how they consider or think about reconstruction. Of course, there are different perspectives, but this reconstruction of Hiroshima is not just about reestablishing the city, but rather it is about how to realize the peace and stability of the humanities. So we can consider this as a very big movement. I hope you share this with us. And for the reconstruction, we need the will of the local companies and also the infrastructure, the industry, the education. We need different aspects, but the will of the community is very important. And I think that is how what Hiroshima is known for, and the young people get inspired, and that is leading to the future of Hiroshima. I hope you share this with us. So from here, I would like to talk about how we can reconstruct the future of Hiroshima and what Hiroshima can do, what role Hiroshima can play. So this, we hope to have a dialogue with the panelists. So when we think about the future, so instead of just thinking about Hiroshima as an individual city, I think we would like to broaden the scope to include the Setouchi region. So places Hiroshima as part of the Setouchi region. So how do we see the value of the city? Well, probably there is this value of coexistence. This region of Setouchi, it's not that we have a big flat piece of land, but rather there are small communities with each having their unique culture, and we respect the culture of each other, and we have been coexisting together. That is the history of this region, and the culture has been developed in that context. And this diversity is what we have been valuing, and I think that leads to how we can rebuild or we can build the future. And this really is an attraction of Hiroshima. So how we can further develop this, I think, will be the key. So this diversity of Hiroshima, I would like to think about that, and also think about what Hiroshima can do. What is unique about Hiroshima? Okay, so this new diversity and creating new value, this probably will help Hiroshima become an attractive place for the young people who will be building the future. And also, and how does it look from the global perspective? This is something we would like to touch upon in the discussion today. Okay, so what do you want Hiroshima to be in the future? What are the challenges? And what are the challenges? How can we overcome these challenges? I would like to hear this from the local company perspective, global institution perspective, and also the youth perspective. So instead of speaking on behalf of your organization, probably you can speak from your individual perspective. Kagawa-san, do you think you're ready to start? Well, very broad in scope, kind of hard to answer, but I'll try. Well, Hiroshima's challenge. Well, we often hear that the population flowing out of our region, over tourism is also another challenge, and also the decline in the number of Kataribe who shares the history of the war in Hiroshima. Well, first of all, about the outflow of people from this region. So yeah, we have surveys conducted, and looking at that, what is most often said is that they don't have a place that they want to work here in Hiroshima, or not enough information. That is what we hear from the people. Well, we do think that we do offer a certain amount of information, but about the conditions for work, like how many days they get paid leave, and also the social security. Yes, we do provide that information, and that, of course, is important. And the information that we provide also includes a workplace that is comfortable to work. But it seems like they don't get the information of a workplace that they feel rewarded or they feel confident. So if we can provide that kind of information, that may change the situation. So not the information that the company wants to distribute, but rather we need to look into whether we are really able to provide information that the job seekers are really looking for. And it's not just about work, but also entertainment as well. Entertainment facilities, we don't have many, like the concert halls or opera or the art. Yes, sports. Yes, we have lots here in Hiroshima. But other than that, the cultural facilities, maybe we do lack those facilities here in Hiroshima. And about peace. So the areas that were hit by the atomic bomb are not have become the tourist site, and we have people from the Western countries coming over to this place of Hiroshima. Instead of just having them see and then go back, we would like to think more about what they can learn or get, or what message we can deliver to them through their visit here in Hiroshima, like peace tourism. And the kataribe, who are the people who share the experience of war. And I think it's different to hear directly from those who really experienced the war themselves, or whether we hear it from somebody who's heard from their relatives. So although there is a difference, I think we can think of different ways of conveying the message through video or many other methods. And the sites that the tourists visit, it's just a tourist site. It's become very touristy. But rather, well, I'm wondering if we can make a facility or an institution that's not just for tourists. I think that's about it. So you share the challenges of Hiroshima, and also you made a suggestion how we can improve the city of Hiroshima. That was from the company perspective. So next, Shamsul, could you share with us your thoughts on the challenges of Hiroshima and what are the possibilities for the future of Hiroshima?
Thank you. UNITAR brings hundreds of people every year to Hiroshima from those countries which are affected deeply by conflict, violence, and poverty. And a lot of these young people, when they walk in Peace Park, when they go to museum, they keep asking, how comes Hiroshima suffered the first nuclear, bombing, but they overcome those challenges, and how they can rebuild. By asking these questions, I think what is lingering in their mind and what they're reflecting on is the strength and the resilience of the people. What made these people to come together, work together, and rebuild their own city? Because when you go to those countries, you see the past, present, and future live together. You see a lot of buildings that devastated by conflict. You see a lot of evidence of the conflict that is taking place. And they don't see a clear-cut, path to rebuild its own country. But when they come here, I think they see a remarkable example of reconstruction, and they not only gain hope, but also get this courage that yes, we can do it too. So at the same time, I think peace that we have here in Hiroshima is different for different countries. It means different things. For example, for some countries which are in the conflict, for them peace means the absence of violence and war, what we call negative peace. But the peace they see here is a peace, positive peace. They not only see that people and those people who suffered during the war, they talk about peace and peace building. They talk about reconciliation. They talk about moving forward. They talk about how to rebuild and what it took for them to rebuild their own countries and communities. So I think for them, peace is very fragile when we look at from global perspective. A small trigger can start a war. And I think that should be reflected here as well. Look at the world in the Middle East, especially in Africa. We have a lot of conflict ongoing. And a small trigger can lead into war. And peace is not, something that is, it has to be consolidated by development, by, creating jobs, by the private sectors where there are opportunities for people to work together. So I think when we look at from the global perspective, Hiroshima, offer that example of not the absence of war, but also a positive peace that need to be consolidated and promoted with economic development. The second thing, I feel like Hiroshima is doing the right thing to, offer education and peace education to own kids, but also, as my colleague has mentioned here, is that a lot of people who visit Hiroshima as visitor or tourist, what they take back to their own country. A lot of people that visit and come for training under UNITAR, programs, what they can learn, what they can take away. And I think we see a lot of voices that is advocating for global peace. And I feel that Hiroshima should be a strong voice against all the conflict that is taking place. A lot of them are unjust. We see a lot of suffering that is taking place, especially in Palestine and Ukraine. And I think no one is better positioned than Hiroshima to talk very strongly against those unfair and unjust violence that is taking place and suffering. There's a lot of people, especially young people, children and women are suffering. So I think that is what it means for a lot of these people when they come to Hiroshima. They expect a lot. The expectation is that Hiroshima is the right place and the right to talk about peace, conflict, and war, and why it should be stopped and why it should not be repeated again. But also, I think Hiroshima is a coastal city. A lot of people are looking at Hiroshima as a model city. It has a lot of coast. What Hiroshima is doing on environmental sustainability. I think environmental sustainability is key. There is a global warming. A lot of these people are not just affected by conflict and violence, but also by the environmental and global warming. And we see a lot of migration taking place. People are moving from the area that is affected by climate change. And what Hiroshima can offer to them, being a coastal city surrounded by this inland city, and what Hiroshima is doing, I think this is very important. So I think I'll stop here for the sake of time. Thank you.
はい、ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Now, Fujiyama-san, from a young people's perspective, well, you are not originally from Hiroshima. You just moved to Hiroshima to go to university, right? And so, from your perspective, what's the issue and potential of Hiroshima? And you are also engaged in the effort of reconstruction. What do you think? So, the Hiroshima's experiences, I understand that it was quite a difficult experience. However, you can actually turn it into the strength as well. So I'm now undertaking the initiative of Pride of Hiroshima. And what I think is that from the Hiroshima's company's perspective, when you think about the reconstruction, I became to be aware that our life is supported by other people. And how come the Hiroshima's reconstruction was achieved so quickly? Maybe that is a question of people. I think the Hiroshima's companies and also the companies outside of Hiroshima is supporting our lives with their products and service. And our lives are supported by other people's efforts. With that awareness, I think the businesses stood up with a sense of pride to help people's lives. This is what I feel when I interact with the participating member companies of this initiative. And so when G7 summit was hosted, we did this special exhibition, and back then already Ukraine war was going on, and it was difficult to take one side over this conflict. However, being able to show how we reconstructed from the damage of the war is something that we can tell as a story of Hiroshima, and that can be the source of hope for other people who are suffering. And so those people that everyday people, just common people, stood up and worked together to achieve the reconstruction. So that's something that we can deliver as a message from Hiroshima. And as for the migration, we're trying to retain the youth within Hiroshima. Please don't leave Hiroshima. This is what we say. Often in the news, we heard that the number of the population who leave Hiroshima exceeding the inflow of the population. So that's a bit of an issue. The companies are struggling to convey why it is a good place to work for young people. But employees of the companies can tell a story of how it is worthwhile to work for the company, and that communication is done by the employees, and they look really proud, and it is quite overwhelming. So through that kind of communication, I think young people feel motivated to work with them. So it is a big issue, meaning that we have to retain the youth population in Hiroshima. However, looking at what's happening at the Pride of Hiroshima, I think the passion of the Hiroshima companies are being understood by the visitors of the exhibition. Thank you. There are some issues in Hiroshima, but Hiroshima also has high potential. I think that's a common thread across the three people. And so the society is now changing very quickly. We are looking for a new model of economy, not just the conventional capitalism. I think that's the trend across the world. So Hiroshima can be a model in that new era to the world. So we've been discussing peace since yesterday, and with ethics. Based on peace and ethics, we can make a new shape of capitalism. Hiroshima is in a good position to really think about it, and there are many things that we can do because we are Hiroshima. I think we've been discussing that over the 2 days. So what can we do as a Hiroshima and in Hiroshima in that context is what we are discussing today. So we have to be conscious of time, but from each of the panelists, I would like to hear the future possibility of Hiroshima, and I would like to have the message that you want to share with the audience. I think we still have about 10 minutes to go. So With that message, I would like to conclude the session. I would like to start from Ms. Fujiyama. So let's just start with you, okay? So on behalf of Pride of Hiroshima, I am here as a panelist. So Pride of Hiroshima and Hiroshima has got the history of the people who took on big challenges. There are people who took on challenges before the war, but because of the atomic bombing, the landscapes and the cities were destroyed. But even after that, it was already like 2 or 3 days after the bombing, all the services were resumed, and everybody worked very quickly to start the reconstruction. And the people of Hiroshima took on the difficult challenge again, and that's being communicated historically, and we're trying to hand down that story to the next generation as well. So this is a history of Hiroshima. Young people is also resonating with that, and we now know that because of the effort we have Hiroshima today as it is. And this spirit of Hiroshima is taking root here, and we are learning here, and we feel very encouraged and empowered because of the legacy of the predecessors here in Hiroshima. We can take on that Hiroshima spirit and can be proud to take on a new challenge. And so I want the previous generations to be proud of their achievements, and I also would like to encourage the youth to take on the new challenges. Now over to you, Shamsul-san.
I think for me, Hiroshima serves as a center or a beacon of peace and diplomacy, which present to the world as a center or a place where we can talk, about peace, we can talk about nuclear disarmament. So I think Hiroshima should continue to serve as a center for peace and diplomacy. And I think that leadership is very important. We have seen Hiroshima is, educating, Hiroshima is voicing its concern about, why it is important for the world that we should get rid of the nuclear weapons. And I think that should continue and more strongly, but also I think Hiroshima should continue to engage youth in peace education. I think that's another dimension that Hiroshima is already doing, because peace education is key to everything. When we look to the world where we see a lot of conflict, where we see a lot of poverty, one of the key factors that can support those countries to come out of the poverty and to rebuild its own country is education. And sometimes peace education is very important than other type of education, because when these people that we bring under the UNITAR programs to Hiroshima, what they have, I think, when they have a strong feeling of taking revenge. A lot of people are thinking when they have been suffered, when they've been, in the conflict, they're thinking about revenge. They're thinking about their grievances. They're thinking about that sadness and how to turn that into a positive energy. I think peace education can play a huge role. And a lot of people are looking for examples in Hiroshima, what Hiroshima does and what we can take from Hiroshima to educate young people across the world, that why they have a stake, they are the leaders of the future. So I think also, entrepreneurial ecosystem, we teach a lot about entrepreneurship in our program. In UNITAR, we bring a lot of people, young people from around the world, to tell them why it is important for them to create their own destiny. I think now the global economy is such that the jobs are shrinking, the traditional job, but there is more, focus on, AI, technology, and how this will create a job. So I think that entrepreneurial spirit should continue to be, developed and nurtured here in Hiroshima, so that the young people can feel that they have a stake in the future and they can do something for themselves, not only themselves, but also for the global peace. Thank you.
はい、ありがとうございます。それでは最後に香川さん。
Well, thank you very much. Kagawa-san, would you like to close? Yes, I'm the last speaker. I feel responsible, but yes, I heard from you earlier that there are different definitions for peace. So where there is war, having no war may mean peace. So that could be a negative peace. And also there is positive peace on the other hand. So people having sufficient goods, and when that continues, the definition of peace may change, and also mental fulfilledness, and also feeling this being rewarded for working, and this may lead to the discussion of well-being. Well, in our organization also, we have focus on well-being and the fulfillment of well-being. This is one aspect of peace that I would like to realize. And also, the ideal state of Hiroshima is to become a mecca of peace, center of peace. So we can develop the educators of peace in Hiroshima and then deploy them around the world, and they can extend the peace. So this kind of cycle is something we would like to create. So well-being in the company, we can embody peace through those activities. And these activities are really a grassroots activity, something that we can continue. We need to continue on a daily basis. And doing that, I think we can establish the status of a peace city, Hiroshima. Well, thank you very much. Well, today we have heard from each of the panelists from different perspectives about the reconstruction of Hiroshima and also the future, the possibilities for the future of Hiroshima as a Hiroshima for global peace. Well, the people in the audience and also who are connected online, you might want to give some thought. I hope that this was a great opportunity to give some thoughts about what we can do towards the future. How to create the value of the society, because the society is going to change with the development of technology. And in that context, I think we will need a different approach of creating value, different from the industrialization stage. And young people, yes, we have many students in our universities who hope to solve the problems of the society. And they are not looking at the economic value, but they are trying to realize that their value through this contribution to the society. So even younger ones, junior, senior high school students, we have many of them in Hiroshima, and probably this is due to the education that's being provided in Hiroshima. So people who can create the value for the society, I think Hiroshima is a good place for that. And how to build the next round of activities, I think this is what Hiroshima will be looking forward to in the future. And I think I can close this session. And thank you all for your valuable time. And thank you to the panelists. Thank you very much. And I would like to close this session.